What if I told you that there's a wild leaf growing quietly around the world that contains up to 10 times more calcium than milk, and most people walk past it every single day without knowing? This plant isn't new. It's not a supplement. It's not a lab invention. Ancient cultures relied on it for strong bones, healing wounds, and surviving food shortages. Yet today, almost nobody talks about it. By the end of this video, you'll know what this leaf is, why it's so powerful, and why modern diets completely ignore it. When most people hear the word calcium, they immediately think about milk, strong bones, or problems like osteoporosis. While bones are important, calcium's role in the body goes far beyond that. Calcium is involved in many processes that keep you alive and functioning every day. Your muscles need calcium to contract properly. Without enough calcium, muscles can feel weak, cramp easily, or tire faster than normal. Your heart also depends on calcium to maintain a steady and healthy rhythm. If calcium levels drop too low, the heartbeat can become irregular, which may lead to serious health issues. Calcium is also essential for your nervous system. It helps nerve cells send messages from your brain to the rest of your body. Even hormone release relies on calcium, meaning it affects energy levels, mood, and overall balance inside the body. Research has shown the real impact of calcium deficiency. In studies on older adults, low calcium levels didn't only increase the risk of broken bones. People also experienced more fatigue, muscle weakness, and difficulty maintaining balance, increasing their risk of falls. This shows that calcium is not just about preventing fractures later in life. It is a core mineral your body needs every single day. Calcium isn't optional, it's truly foundational to overall health. For many decades, milk has been promoted as the best and most important source of calcium. From childhood, people are taught that drinking milk is the key to strong bones and good health. While milk does contain calcium, the idea that it is the richest source in nature is misleading. 1 cup of milk provides about 300 milligrams of calcium. At first, that number sounds impressive, and for a long time it was treated as the gold standard. However, when nutrition researchers began closely studying plant foods, they discovered something surprising. Several plants naturally contain far more calcium than milk, sometimes multiple times more per serving. These plants were once common in traditional diets but slowly disappeared from modern eating habits. Because they are wild, inexpensive, and not heavily marketed, they were largely ignored. This shift created the milk myth, where one food overshadowed many better natural sources. Understanding this opens the door to a forgotten wild leaf that has amazed scientists with its extremely high calcium content. This powerful plant is commonly known as stinging nettle. Most people recognize it as the irritating weed that causes a burning or stinging feeling when touched. Because of this, it is often avoided, pulled out, or ignored without a second thought. However, this reaction hides one of nature's most impressive nutritional secrets. Once stinging nettle is dried or cooked, the tiny hairs that cause the sting are neutralized. What remains is a plant packed with nutrients, especially minerals. Among these minerals, calcium stands out in an extraordinary way. Gram for gram, dried nettle leaves can contain over 2,000 milligrams of calcium per 100 grams. That is up to 10 times more calcium than milk, making nettle one of the richest natural calcium sources ever measured. This is not a modern discovery. For centuries, people across Europe, Asia, and North America relied on nettle as a daily food source. It was used in soups, teas, and stews to maintain strength and health. Traditional healers valued it for supporting bones, joints, and recovery from illness. Beyond food and medicine, nettle fibers were even used to make strong fabric and rope. Over time, as modern agriculture and packaged foods replaced wild plants, nettle slowly disappeared from everyday diets. Today, science is rediscovering what ancient cultures already knew. This wild leaf is a true calcium powerhouse, quietly growing in nature while most people overlook it. During World War I, food shortages affected millions of people across Europe. Farms were destroyed, supply routes were broken, and everyday foods became difficult to find. To survive, communities were forced to return to knowledge that had been passed down for generations, using wild plants as food. One of the most important of these plants was stinging nettle. In countries like Germany and the United Kingdom, nettle soup became a common meal. People did not choose it because it tasted amazing or felt comforting. They chose it because it helped them stay strong during extremely difficult times. Nettle was easy to find, grew quickly, and provided nourishment when other foods were unavailable. Both soldiers and civilians began noticing something interesting. Despite harsh conditions and limited diets, many experienced fewer bone problems and seemed to recover more quickly from injuries. Wounds healed faster, fatigue was lower, and physical weakness was less severe than expected. At the time, no one measured minerals or counted nutrients. People simply trusted what worked. They did not know how much calcium, iron, or other minerals nettle contained. They only knew that their bodies responded positively to it. Today, modern science allows us to understand why. Research now shows that nettle is rich in calcium and other essential minerals that support bone strength and recovery. What people experienced during the war was not coincidence. It was nutrition in action, long before the numbers confirmed it. Calcium by itself is not enough to build strong bones or keep the body functioning properly. Many people consume calcium but still struggle with weak bones or poor absorption, because calcium needs support from other nutrients. For calcium to be absorbed and used correctly, the body also requires magnesium, vitamin K, and small amounts of trace minerals. Without these helpers, much of the calcium passes through the body without doing its job. This is where stinging nettle becomes truly special. Nettle does not deliver calcium on its own. Instead, it provides calcium as part of a complete mineral package. Along with calcium, nettle naturally contains magnesium, iron, silica, and chlorophyll. Each of these plays an important role in how the body uses minerals. Magnesium helps calcium enter bones instead of soft tissues. Vitamin K supports proper bone formation. Silica strengthens connective tissue, while chlorophyll supports overall cellular health. Because these nutrients exist together in nettle, the body can recognize and absorb them more efficiently. This creates a balanced system that supports bone building, muscle function, and recovery. Instead of forcing the body to rely on one isolated nutrient, nettle works with the body's natural processes. Think of it in simple terms. Milk mainly provides calcium by itself. It does the job, but only partially. Nettle, on the other hand, provides calcium along with everything the body needs to use it correctly. It is like receiving building materials along with the tools to actually construct something strong. This is why the calcium in nettle is considered more powerful and effective. Modern nutritional science is now confirming what traditional healers understood long ago. For centuries, nettle was used to strengthen the body, support healing, and maintain overall health. Today, researchers are finally able to measure and explain why it worked so well. Scientific studies show that stinging nettle supports bone density by providing minerals the body needs to build and maintain strong bones. It has also been found to reduce inflammation, which is important because chronic inflammation can weaken bones and slow recovery. In addition, nettle helps maintain mineral balance in the body, allowing calcium and other nutrients to be absorbed and used more effectively. In one small research trial, people who regularly consumed mineral-rich leafy plants showed improved calcium markers in their bodies when compared to those who relied only on dairy products. This suggests that calcium from plant sources, when combined with other natural minerals, may be more efficiently utilized by the body. This research does not mean that milk is harmful or useless. Milk can still be part of a healthy diet for many people. However, it challenges the idea that dairy is the only or best source of calcium. Nature provides multiple powerful options, and some of them have been overlooked. Modern science is now catching up, showing that traditional plant-based sources like nettle deserve a place in conversations about bone health and nutrition. So why isn't everyone talking about stinging nettle, despite its impressive nutritional value? The answer is surprisingly simple. Nettle is wild, free, and unprofitable. It grows on its own without needing farms, factories, or expensive processing. Because of this, there is very little financial incentive to promote it. You cannot patent a wild plant that grows naturally. You cannot easily turn it into a branded product with a unique label that separates it from nature itself. Modern food industries are built around products that can be packaged, marketed, and sold repeatedly. Nettle does not fit well into that system. Over time, foods that generated profit received advertising, research funding, and public attention. Meanwhile, plants that could not be easily sold were slowly forgotten. Traditional knowledge was passed down less often, and younger generations grew up without learning about wild, mineral-rich plants like nettle. As supermarkets replaced local food traditions, convenience became more important than nutrition. Wild foods were seen as old-fashioned or unnecessary. This caused valuable information to fade quietly into the background, not because it was wrong, but because it did not make money. The result is a modern diet that often ignores powerful natural foods. Nettle did not disappear because it lacked value. It disappeared because it didn't fit into a system driven by profit, packaging, and mass marketing. This information is especially important for certain groups of people who need extra support for their bones and overall mineral balance. If you are over 30, your body naturally begins to lose bone density more easily than it did in your younger years. At this stage, getting enough usable calcium becomes more important than ever. Physically active people and athletes should also pay close attention. During intense exercise, calcium is lost through sweat. If it is not replaced properly, muscle cramps, fatigue, and weaker bones can develop over time. For people following a plant-based diet, finding rich, natural sources of calcium is essential, since dairy is not part of their routine. Many individuals are lactose intolerant or simply do not digest dairy well. For them, relying on milk for calcium can lead to discomfort, inflammation, or poor absorption. Even among those who consume dairy, calcium absorption decreases with age, meaning the body cannot use it as efficiently. For all of these groups, mineral-dense plants offer a powerful solution. Plants like stinging nettle provide calcium along with supportive minerals that help the body absorb and use it effectively. This makes nettle a potential game changer for people who want stronger bones, better recovery, and improved overall health without relying solely on dairy products. Somewhere close to us, a wild plant that many people dismiss as a useless weed holds more calcium than milk ever could. For generations, our ancestors relied on it to stay strong and healthy. It helped people survive wars, famines, and times when food was scarce. They trusted it because their bodies felt the benefits, even without scientific proof. Today, modern science is finally catching up and confirming what history already showed. This plant truly works, and it always has. The real mystery is not its power, but how such valuable knowledge slowly disappeared from our diets and everyday lives.